G'day YouTube, warbles on a lot here. Conditions being as close to perfect as they can get. It is time, in my little mind, or what passes thereof for an excuse, it is time to go out there and have a crack at the 6th burn of the season. Leafblower's full of fuel, drip torch is full of fuel. That there is the last little cat's paw of the day. What's going on there is there's been no systemic east-west or west-east wind all day. And so parcels of air in touch with the ground have adopted the radiant ambient temperature of the soil they're sitting on top of. And the warm air rises, and here we are up on top of what's known as a thermal generator. So as the sun gets down close to the horizon, as it is, and as the shadows grow longer, as they are, and as the ground over there goes into shadow, the temperature over there drops down, and the relative temperature difference between over there and right here, where am I, it increases to the point where the ground here has heated the air here hotter than the air over there, because that's in the shade, and we are here still in the sun. So all of a sudden, the bubble of air that's been sitting here and fairly happy and slightly growing warmer and slightly growing warmer, it breaks off and up it goes. And when that happens, there's a relative low pressure zone here. And when that happens, all the way around it, the air in the relative high pressure zone rushes in to come here and fill the relatively low pressure zone, or relative low pressure zone. And therefore, you suddenly randomly, at no apparent timing, you get these every 20 minutes, every 40 minutes, every 15 minutes perhaps, little gusts coming from all bloody directions, and some of them can be quite strong. And when that happens, if you've got a fire already going, then guess what, Munchkin? Up Shit Creek you can find yourself. So, here we are at 10 minutes past 4, and we're watching the last cat's paw of the day. And sometime in the next quarter of an hour or half an hour, it'll be safe to light up. But until then, anybody who lit up would have been taking a bit of a risk. And because right here, right now, I'm sort of checking and making sure that I don't do things like that. Well, maybe we'll do that. How would that be? In order to lay out the hose, so that if everything goes wrong, if I make a mess of it, I have in fact got 130 litres already in a hose, under pressure. No need to start any motors. All we got to do is pull the pin, dong, rotate the handle, and all of a sudden you're going to get 123 psi. Which is 700 kilopascals of air pressure in that bubble there, pushing on the water, and there's a hose going down to the bottom. So high pressure water is going to come out of that and go 36 metres over there in order to defend the tent and the shipping container if somebody makes a mess of it. And it's actually quite possible to make a mess of it. I got a phone call today at about 10 past 12 from my son. Hey old man, how you going? Not bad. What can I do for you? You got a burn permit? Are you burning off at the moment, Dad? No, not going to do that. It's the middle of the day, so I don't burn off in the middle of the day. Why? Oh, I just had a 000 call from 94 Yarraford Road. And I'm in the truck responding, and there's 2 more trucks on the way. Okay, that would be probably Mabbott or Brewer. So my daughter and I got in the car and went down, had a bit of a look, took some binoculars and got to watch my son and 2 other fire trucks. He was doing a crew leader's wildfire course at the time, so he got to take him out on an actual fire. And apparently, old mate had been, he was either patrolling a burning heap of rubbish that he lit last night, or he decided to light a heap of rubbish down near the dam, downslope from the houses. Anyway, he got it all to the point where he thought it was under control, and he had a Toyota Land Cruiser troop carrier towing an ancient, what do they call it, rural fire council, firefighting trailers. Basically, you get a trailer like that, and you turn it into about a 500-litre water tank with a pump and a hose and all the rest of it. And well, not to put too fine a point on it, you don't have them anywhere in the RFS, because if you drive out to the end of the track and get yourself in a spot where you can't turn around with a trailer, you're stuck once you run out of water, and they killed a lot of people. Anyway, old mate's got one of them. So he patrolled his little fire that he was burning off, and he's a pillar of the community, very responsible bloke. I'm sure he would have had a burn notification in. And then when everything was all set and done and under control, he went back up to the house to have a cup of coffee and come out half an hour later and half the friggin' paddock was on fire. So he had the embarrassing experience of having to call OOO to get the fire brigade to come out and rescue him before it got to the houses or the... and yeah, like whichever direction it got away from, within 1 kilometre there were houses. And, you know, like, my humble abode is one of them. Right? At that particular time, the wind was from the west. If there suddenly blew up an easterly wind and that thing got away from them, I would have had a very upsetting night. So thank you, my son. You have saved my bacon once again. I'm so bloody glad I took that kid out on the fire ground in 1994 when he was 5 years old. So he's had lots of experience. Yeah? Because he's 34 now. So he's had 29 years experience of firefighting and he's only 34. Anyway, I better start doing things, like move. Right. No problem, not a worry. We have preparificated. With luck, we won't make a mess of it. And I can feel or sense the sea breeze starting to come in already, and that will be a help, I think. The 15-litre wet line, I actually didn't realise, but 15 litres only comes up to here. This is one of the ancient bushfire council, obsolete, not allowed to have them, too heavy, upset the work and safety health guidelines, 25-litre backpacks. I'm not a He-Man, I only put 15 litres in them. Modern backpacks only go to 16 litres because that's all you're allowed to carry, 16 kilograms. Hoorah! So part 1, line 1, while waiting for it to get super cool, we toddle out over here and we gloat about some of the preparation which has gone on to reduce the height of the wood sticking up and put it all in place. And look at what a good little job we did last time. Ooh, we controlled that goodly. I hope we don't do any worse tonight. So here we go, and here's, you remember I showed you the dead wattle tree in the previous burn video, which is why I didn't come down here, because I didn't want this to go off. Well, look at what we got here. On the one hand, I've cut away that big pile and I've dragged away all the loose grass, and some of the grass has been raked all the way out to here. So the radiant heat from that grass burning should not set that on fire. Just to hedge the bets, now we expend water on the base of the tree. So it should be harder to get this thing burning and then have the bastard fall down because if it falls down and drops burning embers and throws them out there into the grass, that won't be fun to play with. I don't want to have to play with that, so therefore I sort of kind of take preemptive measures. And here's another one, and I'm actually not going to burn right up to this one. What I'm hoping to do is come down there and along here. But it's a stringy bark, and I had to get up at bloody 6:30 in the morning and go firefighting wearing bloody Ugg boots and underpants and a t-shirt on Friday because I did not prepare the base of a stringy bark. And when that stringy bark got alight, I thought I'd put it out at 10 o'clock at night, and it wasn't actually extinguished. Well, it was wished, but it wasn't extinguished. So anyway, therefore, instead of relying exclusively on the leaf blower, this time, yeah, I've got this all set up, as well as that one over there for that tree, and I'll water it too, not as heavily as this one's going to get. But yeah, as I said, once upon a time, if you had a functional tribe of people who had been living on this land for 40,000 years, it would never get to anything like this condition. And when it was time to burn, the whole bloody tribe would show up. And what would happen is the base around all of the big trees that you don't want to burn would be cleared around and the loose bark cleared off, pulled out of the way like this stuff is here. And then, when you burn, the big trees stay okay. All the little shit and the dead stuff that you don't want to keep. Yeah, it goes. And before I cottoned on to leaf blowers, I would have been trying to put a wet line down along this whole outside edge. And, you know, stamp it out. And then I would have tried to do the wet line plus the leaf blower. Well, I have learned. You really only need to carry water to protect the points where it would be kind of disastrous if the fire got away from you. At least that's my theory. And I may be wrong. At some point, you just have to suck it and see. And coming along, I think I'm probably going to go along there rather than here, because the fire's going to bloody well run out in that green patch there, so I might as well light the other side of it. But the one thing that is going to be just a little bit on the tricksy woo side, and that'll be easier if I go up on there, is where this crosses. So what I'll do is I'll wet the crap out of that. So when I light up along there, it's not a problem. And as long as the leaf blower is in cooperative mode, everything should be pretty good, I think. Maybe, perhaps, God being willing and the Pope agreeable, depending on your theology. Take your pick. Yes, we are still recording and we have enough light. Okay. Really should get a new bulb for that, I suppose. Look at that, just like I bought one. Okay, cool. Okay, we might as well go and have a go at it. Oh, if she videos it from her end, so much the merrier. Quite effective is the leaf blower, even on idle. Like I said, it gives you the wind advantage. And the wind's coming from the correct direction anyway. That there is just some of the potential firewood I salvaged from the burn zone yesterday. Okay, I think this around about here is where I'm going to go down there. So, just go and tread out a few traps for the unwary. Just get a few little bits like that backing out of the way. That's nice and wet yet. And then down to here and over there. So that's really all I'm trying to do. Not huge. After I've nailed that one down, then I can go down to there and then I can work my way back along. And the idea is to try and get a barrier between my camp and all that fuel out there. So, let's see if we can do this without making a mess of it. Turn your drip torch on. What is going on? Why is my drip torch not functioning? Okay, let's us try that again. You pour a bit of drip torch fuel onto the ground. I have no idea why it was not working, but it was not. It is now working. You then take your drip torch, put it aside, ideally on some already burnt ground where it won't do any harm. Then you come back over here and you light a bit of a fire. And after that, you get your drip torch going. And it's kerosene, so it does take a while to heat up. Oh, there we go. Okay. So, coming back out of that, and putting out the near edge. With a big burst of power any time it starts trying to get away from you. And this is quite prepared to try and get away from me. So it is. Sometimes you probably won't be able to see exactly what I'm working on, but I've got the camera pointed more or less straight ahead. But this little hinge here is really kind of critical. If I don't black it out, then the fire can escape back behind me, just like I do not want it to do. And it's fucking burning down the hill with the wind behind it, because there's just that much bloody fuel. See how easy it is for it to get into a convection runaway? By the way, you're not supposed to ever walk backwards with a drip torch, because if you do that and you fall over, as you fall you'll pull the burning drip torch onto your own foot. Worth knowing about, isn't it? And worth trying to keep in mind. the other big rule, thou shalt not fall over. Never. You go down on a solo fire ground, you're pretty fucked. See what happens when you turn your back on it? That's why no more than 1 metre of unsupervised fire at any place is my rule of thumb. And yeah, you have to sort of manicure the edge. And then come back to what's going on while you weren't looking. The idea is not to have a big spectacular burn. The idea is to have a boring little one. That's where we did the digging up. See, most of the time, idle power is plenty to control it. It's enough of a wind with a little gust of the hard stuff every now and then. The fire triangle is oxygen and heat and fuel. Adding fast cold air takes a lot of heat out of the equation. Adding more fast cold air points the fire somewhere else entirely. Adding more fire in front of where you want the fire to go creates a low pressure zone in front of the fire you're trying to point at it, so it sucks your fire in. That's why to do an actual backburn you have to wait until you're almost in life-threatening danger, so the approaching fire is sufficiently close that when you ignite your backburn, it gets sucked into it, and then the backburn wipes out all the fuel in front of it. I think we may have just been videoed, not entirely certain. That's a tree that I did not prepare with water, because it's still got leaves on it and I thought it wouldn't need it. It did not go so close to dying in the drought. Maybe 'twas presumptuous of me. Anyway, we'll see how we go. Sorry about the 1 metre rule, but sometimes you have to sort of speed things up. And I'm lighting off a wallaby trail, so it's kind of a bit safer. And there's another thing, you've got to keep your burning end over the stuff you don't mind if it gets burnt. See that spider hole down there? Hot air rises. We didn't hurt him at all. Or her. Whoop. Fucking miserable bastard. Busy on a fucking one-arm man in a wallpaper hanging competition. Now's where we see whether the wet line was worth a pinch of shit. See, I'm using just a little bit of wind to hold this corner. Put a hook in it, sort of thing. To hold it while I knock that bit out. This is where it is tricky because there's so much radiant heat. See, the fucking thing wants to get out. And that's how you can hurry shit up. When it needs to be. Ah. Yeah. Yeah. Hey? It's okay, nearly out. Oh. It wants out, doesn't it? Hey? Filming. If you could make a fairly strong vodka and coke, that'd be good.
Okay.
If you could make a strong vodka and coke, that'd be great. Hey, I didn't lose it. Say again? I know. That's why I had to do it. Oh, wait. Okay. Now, the plan was to go down there and come up around here. But Warbles was about fucking knackered. And I just was not entirely certain of my ability to get down around there and back up here before all that shit come over here. So therefore, when I got to there, I amended my plan and cut up here. And even then, it was all I could think of to do to successfully keep the fire from setting light to all the 2018 leaf litter in that pit. But did undo that. I tell you what, I don't think there's too many post-cancer treatment zombies who could pull that off. We're 3 days short of 1 year since I started the radiation and chemotherapy. So, thank you very much, Dr. Abdul Mohammed Rahman Tahir and Dr. Pinky Baggy, because that's the name of the 2 doctors who cured me of malignant squamous cell carcinoma of the right tonsil, locally advanced 7 secondary. If they hadn't have done that for me, I would not have been able to do this to try and safeguard my daughter's everything. So, Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Hazard reduction burn or solo hazard reduction burn program. That is how you do it without needing 3 fire trucks to come and rescue you. But as you could see, there were times when it was that far off, right? And I waited until the absolute quietest, deadest, calmest, coolest part of the day without waiting for everything to get so wet from dew that it wouldn't burn. Jesus, I hate global warming. And I have a deep contempt for everybody who voted to go right ahead with it. They give me the fucking shits. Warbles on a lot to YouTube. Ciao.